Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. I am here today because I would like to talk to you about a subject that a lot of us don't usually discuss with each other. That would be dreams. Do you know how important your dreams are to you? Do you know how they help you with your daily life and working everything out while you're sleeping? It's very important, these dreams that we have, that we recognize whether or not they are trying to speak to us. I believe that most dreams that you have that are very, very vivid, very remember some. You know how you can't forget what happened? Like when you wake up, sometimes you forget what's happened in your dreams. You can't even remember, you don't even think you dreamed. But everybody, I'm here to tell you something. Your dreams are your way of working something out subconsciously, or they could be giving you prosthetic, maybe psychic signs to what's going on. Like, have you ever had a dream where, you think of someone in your family and you see that they had gotten hurt in some manner, and then you find out the next day that so and so got hit by a car, or so and so fell over and broke their leg or something like that. That is actually, that's a prophetic dream, my friends. That is a psychic connection you have to somebody out there. And I think that it's important people recognize that, because they don't. I mean, a lot of people don't realize it. They blow it off. Oh no, I go home, I go to sleep, and then I get up the next day and I work. You don't realize this. And I'm going to share with you a very, very scary dream that I had one time. And I had written it down. It wasn't too long ago. I mean, I have very, very good dreams. I have, a dream journal. I recommend everybody out there, go get yourself a cheap little composition book. And, like when you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, "Ugh," just write down what you're thinking. Write down what came to your mind, because you would be surprised at what things, like, you can go back and look at your daily life and you can be like, oh my God, I knew that was going to happen. Or, oh my gosh, something showed me that was going to happen. Sometimes it's scary. But it's kind of neat if you can maybe take it upon yourself to say, gee, maybe I have this ability and I'm just not aware of it. So, it's a pretty scary dream that I had at one time. I dreamed I was in a place and there was like this corridor, like it's like stones, and like you could, touch across the walls, and they were like super rough and like large. It was like a big corridor where there was like, water, and I don't mean to say it to sound disgusting, but there was like blood kind of soaked up on the walls and stuff like this. And I'm walking down this corridor and I keep hearing like this laughter, this man or men's laughter. To honestly, that's what it was. And and I could feel like this sense of terrified. I was terrified. It wasn't just a dream. It was like a nightmare. It was like I mean, my family, my friends, my tribe, you would have been like, help. I wish somebody was around to wake me up. I mean, these type of things are really, really scary. I mean, this man that I dreamed of, he was, he was kind of attractive, because always in the realm of the dream world, something is pulling you towards it. So of course, maybe, the attraction, I'm kind of trying to see who this is laughing. He wasn't very tall, but his shadow that I could see down the corridor that I was walking through, that was just, I couldn't tell. There's rats in the corridor, there's little mice, and there's little, you know, scary looking things hanging around and stuff. And I'm walking along, and I can hear him, and I can hear him, and I've written it all down. It's quite an exciting dream. And God help you if you have any dreams like this. And I'm going to try to keep out some words that I had written down. But there was a corridor, and there was a man. He had a grayish beard, quite good looking. quite scary looking. I could see his shadow, and I could kind of see little hints of him kind of pacing around back and forth and back and forth. And I could hear screams, and I could hear, like things like that. And I could tell that it was, some type of evil trying to pull me in there. And now let me tell you, this is also these dreams, when you have them at certain times of night, that is when you need to take notice of them. That is when you need to realize what's going on, because there is communication coming in. Certain hours of the night when you are at rest, you are sleeping, you're subconscious, you are not only working through things in your life, but there is things that will come in to you, downloads from divine spirit, other things trying to come into you that aren't good, that are trying to get into your soul and your body, like this. So let me just keep going on with my story, but I want you all need to think about this, because it's very important in your life. People cast it aside, but it is a very important thing. Dreaming is what manifests things into your lives. Okay, so I went down this corridor, and there was someone standing there. I could see him. He was moving around back and forth. He was laughing. Come closer, he was saying. I'm standing back here, and it looks almost as if there was these areas where people were put into these square little stalls, not bathroom stalls, but almost, I guess, the same size of them. And basically this scary, attractively scary, awful man was basically going up to these stalls and basically smacking at them and smacking at them. And he was scaring whatever was in those stalls. I guess it would be his captives in the dream world that he was attacking them. And I get up closer, and I see that there were other people in there, and they were standing there, and I couldn't make out what they were saying. And they were saying to me, and they got a hold of me, and they stopped me just before I got in this little area where I wasn't going to be able to come back out again. Is basically what I was told. And I was pulled upon by these ghastly little beings and these little people, and they were saying to me, if you go any further, you will have to fight your way back out. And most people don't make it back out. And and I can see, I feel, I probably was running, laying in bed, trying to get away, but not really knowing, because apparently, and, there was a person, or a evil infected person. I don't know what it was, but it was that man, that depiction of a masculine energy in front of me. And I could see him just through this little final, area that I had to walk towards. And it was very, very scary, because I could hear him. He was, like growling, and he was scaring me, and I was, and he would go, and he would scream out, and he would kind of brush his hand out like that. And then next thing I know, I'm noticing that he's kind of got this shiny glow to him. And I realize that he has on armor. What am I going to do against this being with armor? And I see over to the side that he has a giant sword. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, where is my weapon? What am I going to fight with? Oh, my mind, this is a dream, right? I mean, well, of course, while you're in it, you don't think that way. But, I could hear I could hear more fighting going on beyond this corridor. So, and you could hear feminine and masculine energy fighting amongst each other, screaming, and you could hear like blood whipping up against the rock of the walls, and almost like steam, steamy coming off of it. It was just awful. I tell you, just awful. I this thing in the corner, it caught my eye, and it definitely was. It was such a shiny, bright, you know, blade of, like, with it had disgusting blood dripping off of it, and blood that had dried on it, and it was awful. And lights were flickering everywhere. And it was just so weird. My friend's so weird. And I entered, and I entered the area, and I could see, and people were screaming and staring and screaming and telling me, "Don't do it, don't do it." And the man was holding a sword. He grabbed his sword. He went over and he grabbed it so he could hold it. And so, next thing I know, I was holding a sword. I didn't realize I was holding a sword until I had entered this corridor, and I'm standing there, and all of a sudden the sword pops into my hand. I was in this weird suit of armor suddenly, because of course it's a dream, and I had just had on regular clothes, so it was very strange. I could barely speak, and he said, "This is a fight. You will fight, or you will wind up not here." I don't know what I'm allowed to say, so it doesn't say that in my writing. He says, like countless others, you will wind up not with us anymore. And I'm saying, oh my gosh, and this is scary. It's like it feels very real to me in this dream. Yeah, I mean, very real. And what I'm realizing is that, am I working through something that is terrifying me, or am I having a dream of something that's about to come up? So, I looked everywhere. There was blood everywhere. It was terrible. There was people laying everywhere. It was awful. And it was, he even had like stains of blood all over him from all the fighting that he had been doing and the stabbing. And he's victorious with everyone. He stood, and he's blocking. He stood behind me now, and he was blocking the way out. He wouldn't let me out. He said, "There is only one way out." And terror was all I could feel. I mean, I was so terrified, y'all, in this dream. The thought of him coming at me with that sword sent me into a panic. I was terrified. I believe I may have been running in my bed. I woke up, I remember just dripping in sweat. It was awful. Thoughts of why? Why am I here? What's happening to me? How did I get here? How can I live? I'm having to think I will have to spill his blood to live through this terror. I have somehow got I have somehow got to get out. How am I going to live through this? I don't know. My eyes are wide open. My grip on my sword is very, very firm. And I am standing still, and I decide to turn around and stand strong. I'm very confident yet terrified, and I stood ready. And he laughed at my weakness. He laughed at me. And he said, "You will never make it out of here." And he said, "I always win. I am here to take your soul," he said to me. "And I am here to spill your blood out everywhere and destroy the life force within you." The biggest and scariest thing is that I needed to become, in essence, him in order to beat him. He taunted me, and he came closer, and suddenly he was behind me. He was like a magical being that I had to fight. It was very strange. Matter of fact, I think he was a magical being that was attacking me in my sleep. I think he was a demon. Um, he was behind me. His arm he wrapped around my neck, and I began to bend down, and I came up wrapped in a strong hold of fear, with him all around me. I spoke, and I screamed out. I screamed, "I will not let you do this to anyone anymore. I will end you." With a sudden drop to the floor, I was on top of him, struggling. Somehow I managed to stab him with my giant sword, and I went right through his heart. He was struggling, and he managed to move a little more, and then all of a sudden his eyes became very wide, and he spat out blood on me. It was awful. He took a big breath of pain, and I said to him that I was really sorry I had to do this to him, but I couldn't let him take anybody's soul anymore. I have to win. I never wanted to do this, but you leave me no choice. Your terror is over. I began to rise up. I was soaked in blood, tears flowing from my face. I had to drag myself through the door to freedom. I had to begin to keep saying things. I did this. I did this to that man. That man. That man. That wasn't a man. That was an evil being. He was attacking me. He was going to end me. That thing is what it was. As I opened the door, I amazed as the silence and then the screams as I collapsed. Victory and defeat. I had to take that in order to live. And I don't know if I would call it a life or an evil being. So it's awful. I woke up hours later. I was bruised and tear soaked, yet confused. What did all that mean? Upon wakening, I felt awful. What has me so worked up? I kept thinking, what is my subconscious trying to work through? Who is this nightmare that is out there waiting for me? I thought about it. I went through my dream journal. I wrote everything down. It plagued me. And I was so in fear of going to sleep the next night. My family, my friends, my tribe. I was so in fear that I would encounter that again. And what is so awful is that not only did I encounter that again, but I encountered the fact of what I was. I am a dream warrior. I seek out things and I try and within my dreams and my subconscious to help people out there. And I believe that I was saving a bunch of souls that were trapped by this evil force. And when I woke up, I had been crying and I had been shaking and I was scared and I was freezing, yet I was covered with sweat. And I felt like I was bruised all over my body. And I did some research and I found out some things. And ever since then, I've realized that I have so many more roles than just the psychic in me, just the tarot card reader, just my art, just being me. I have so many roles in this life that are so important to everyone out there. I hope you guys enjoyed my story about my dream. I know it was a little long, but all my dreams usually are. I have a big journal of them, so, and I have another journal of things that I write down to go along with that. So I hope I hope you take this opportunity to pay more attention to the things that you dream about and realize that either you're working through something or you're being told something that you've never realized. And it could be prophetic. It could be, psychic dreams of the future. Who knows what it could be? It could be dreams of, you know, all kinds of things. Who knows? Just, pay attention to it, and I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you stay with me to the end. And as always, I'm always praying for all of you out there. I love you all so much, and thank you for listening to my dream rant. And I'm sure I'll share some more with you if you like. Leave a comment, share your story, tell me about your dream. I mean, I don't know if you don't tell me. I feel like I'm the only one on the planet that does these weird things when I'm trying to sleep, you know. Anyways, I will see you all real soon out there. And I love you so much. I hope you are subscribing. I hope you are liking. And I hope we are vibing. I'll see you guys real soon.